Good morning, sweet friends. It's Monique with Grace and Tattered Lace. Let's make a cute little farmhousey looking Halloween decoration using this wood cutout kit and a pair of boots. First thing I did was apply some Mod Podge, and I'm using a little postcard that I got from Hobby Lobby in a giant box in the clearance section a while back. I did use my heat tool to kind of take out some of that wetness behind that paper, and then I used my iron with some parchment paper to iron that down and adhere it nice and good. Now I'm just using a wipe with some brown paint and staining the sides of the picture frame. And I'm going to use that same wipe, and we're going to do it on this little wood cutout that kind of reminds me of like a tombstone. It actually is, a little windowy looking piece as well. So I went ahead and stained that, and now we're going to paint the number 31 using some black paint. And then we'll also paint the boots. Now, I did go ahead and paint both sides of the boots because, you are going to be able to see the back side. So I just felt like painting the boots, the back side was important as well. All right, now we are staying in a hotel displaced by the storm, and I forgot my clear wax. And so I just used some of my regular old brown wax that I use for vintage looking stuff and use that to put underneath my paint to create a chippy look. So I put some white paint over the top, dried it with my heat tool, and now I'm just scraping that off with my spackle putty knife. Woo, that was a mouthful. Using my little sanding tool to rough the edges up on our 31 so that we can get that vintagey looking look. And then I'm taking that over the little shape there as well to kind of blend it all in, make it look nice and old and vintage. Doesn't that look awesome like that, you guys? Just loving it so far. Excuse my little stuffed up nose. Allergies are getting to me. All right, look at how cute that is, you guys. I did go ahead and use some hot glue and glued those boots right to the bottom of that frame. Now, if I was at home and I had all of my tools with me, I probably would use some craft sticks to put behind the boots and the frame just to give it a little bit more support. But since I'm displaced and I don't have them, I wasn't able to do that, but that would be my recommendation to do. Now, you saw that I took some dictionary paper, an old dictionary, and I went ahead and cut it right down the middle so that I had two pieces of that dictionary. And then I folded it almost in half. I just kind of figured out where I wanted that to be on the boots. And by leaving that extra on there, it gave it a little bit of extra support. And then I put the two pieces of paper together and folded it kind of like a fan, accordion type style. And I went ahead and did it together because that way my pieces look the same. They're very uniform. The last time I did that, it wasn't very uniform and I had to kind of go back and manipulate it. But anyway, I just think it looks super darn cute. I just put a little piece of hot glue on the edges of the boot, glued it down to the bottom, and right over to the other side of the boot. Just kind of manipulating it so that they kind of have a little bit of a space between, and you could tell that they're for two different boots. But now I added some little vintage buttons to the boots just to give it a little bit of extra something. Look at how cute that is, you guys. All right, now, if I had done this before, it would have been a lot easier. So I recommend that if you want to rough your edges up a little bit, that you do that beforehand, especially being that I didn't have anything to brace those boots on there. But I did take that sandy block and rough the edges up a little bit. I wasn't able to do it as much as I had hoped because I didn't want those boots to fall out. So that is why you probably should do it before you glue the darn thing together. Anyway, now I'm using my Bow Dabra tool, bow maker. You can find it on Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Joann's, and Michael's. I get a lot of requests on that, you guys. Anyway, this is just a handy dandy tool to help you make bows, and I'm just using just a variety of ribbons and making a sweet little bow. I think it's so darn cute. It's very farmhousey looking, very vintagey looking. It could go with any decor. Now, if you like it to be a little bit more grungy, then you could go ahead and do that. Now, you guys, I'm using my heat tool on that greenery because it was a little bit distorted from being shoved in the drawer that I store these in. And as you can see, it kind of really brought the shape back. So if you have greenery that is a little bit bent, try to use your heat tool or your blow dryer, whichever you use, to bring that shape back a little bit. And you can see I just kind of draped it over each little side, put the little ribbon with a bell up there, and I took a piece of brown paper bag and stamped the word boo. My sources were very limited, so there are many options and many things that you could do, but being that I only packed a few things, I had to work with what I had. Anyway, you guys, if you can't afford the kit, which is available in the shop and on sale at the moment, but you could do something very similar using cardboard, finding some Dollar Tree frames. I think you can find some numbers over at Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. You're just not going to get this Halloween-y looking font with your numbers, but you could still achieve the same look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all and have a great day.